Here we go. I told you that we're going to have a big update from Nigel. Here is the very, very latest, because the banking saga has continued, with the City Minister now joining the debate. So Nigel tweeted the following today. I am delighted that the Chancellor and City Minister are putting pressure on the FCA to review why banks are giving UK PEPs, as politically exposed people, such a hard time. Even better would be to change the law. It's an EU directive and a Brexit government ought to deal with it. This is the development from Nigel now. We had him threatening to go to law, and now he's looking to change the law. So that is the latest from Nigel. And again, I want to emphasise that this isn't simply just a Nigel Farage issue. Of course, this is the Farage show, and he is a massive, massive part of that, even in his absence. But this is really an issue that we're seeing affect more and more people, and it could happen to you. So Nigel is now openly calling for a change in the law. Joining me now is... Oh, sorry, no, not quite. Alexandra Tolstoy is an Anglo-Russian and has accused NatWest of behaving like Joseph Stalin's Soviet Union after shutting her bank accounts with no explanation. Justin Doherty is a reputation crisis advisor, and he joins me now. There you go. I thought you changed gender for a second there, but there you are.
Hey,
thank you very much for coming in. Great to have you on the show. Right, OK, so let's deal with first things first, then. When you're dealing with your capacity as a reputation advisor, etc., what could be more damaging to somebody's reputation than a string of banks basically saying, we're not having your custom, but we're not telling you why, which makes you look dodgy?
Yes, it's an absolute disgrace, and it is Orwellian. You know, we've had a principle in this country for almost 1,000 years that if you're accused of a crime, you have the right to defend yourself, and part of that is the right to know what you are accused of. This complete mess, this is a complete mess, this PEP business. It also involves people not even knowing what they stand charged with. And when you're cancelled from the digital economy, you are cancelled from life and society, and you're absolutely shafted.
We had an MP on yesterday who revealed, live on this show, that there are people whose businesses supply ammunition for our own armed forces who, because of their line of work, had their bank accounts mistakenly closed, which is a shocker. Talk to me a little bit about the person that you're involved with, Alexandra Tolstoy, who's Anglo-Russian. What's gone on there?
So we are reputation advisors. We advise lots of people who have challenging problems, and her case is one of the worst cases that we have seen. She is a UK citizen. She has been cancelled by a string of banks. She has no idea why this has happened. They won't even talk to her about it. But this is a common problem. You know, it's not just one person. This has happened to hundreds, thousands of people, and what is now happening as a result of what Nigel chose to do last week is that finally people are coming out of the woodwork and making their voices heard.
Absolutely, and this is why it's building such momentum, and this is a crucial point, which is that Nigel's reaction to this has sparked a response from politicians, but also from the FCA. Why are banks scared of the FCA?
Yeah, this gets to the heart of the problem. So the banks are terrified. So the banks have got bad form on all of this. The crisis of 2008, the government came down very hard on the banks, quite rightly, and legislation was introduced. We then saw the Bribery Act a couple of years later, which introduced this concept of the politically exposed person. But we've now ended up with this absolutely mad situation where the banks are more worried about the regulator and they're more worried about their staff and staff woke feelings than they are about the customers. And that is the heart of the problem, I'm afraid, because these banks, NatWest Bank, Barclays Bank and the others, they don't give two hoots about their customers. That much is obvious, and that needs to be sorted out and reset.
Absolutely, and this is the line this evening from Nigel, who is calling openly now for a change in the law. Do you think he'll be successful? Do you think we'll do it?
Well, it's a challenge, but certainly government is starting to wake up to this, so that is a good thing. What needs to happen as well is there needs to be a groundswell of public pressure, and people need to find their voice. And on your programme and on the station, you are doing a fabulous job. But it's hard, you know. There are newspapers and publications out there that will not touch this issue. Well,
we saw newspapers and publications, sorry to interrupt, yesterday, doing their best to borderline defame Nigel, actually, when it came to, well, I think at best a very dodgy alleged phone call from Coutts Bank that may have appeared to have disclosed some private information about Nigel that turned out to possibly not even be true.
Well, I mean, and this is classic, isn't it? This is a bank in panic mode, in a sort of panic reaction, not thinking about the consequences of what they're doing. And I'm afraid that I think this bank has set itself up for some big problems coming up because what they've done is clearly
Look, fascinating stuff.